There's no doubt about it that both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are really trying to revive Star Wars Legends, and in the most proper way possible, using the Star Wars Ahsoka series as a great tool to really kind of bring some of the Rebels characters to life, as well as Legends characters in live-action adaptations, to really fulfill a lot of fans' needs, and of course their dreams to come true when it comes to Ahsoka Season 1 and Season 2 that are still actively in the works as we speak right now. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, given that both Favreau and Filoni have been endlessly, getting involved with hyping up the fans for what's about to be unveiled at Star Wars Celebration and D23 later this year with upcoming announcements. We also have The Mandalorian Chapter 21 up and coming next week. So there's a lot of things happening at once. But one thing in particular that I think a lot of fans are going to look forward to is exactly what Bob Iger, the executives, the Disney board are all looking forward to and piecing together right now, and that is to replace, of course, Lin-Wen Brennan as the current vice president and to replace her with Jon Favreau. And we'll be diving into the specifics about exactly what's going on, why they want to replace her with Jon, and whether or not Jon is on board with this. And you know what? It's actually looking very good. So, moving to the next big thing here, we know that Jon Favreau is a very busy man. He's gotten many different productions, pretty much greenlit by Disney. He's also gotten many different promotions by Disney CEO Bob Iger that gave him a lot of Lucasfilm privileges, almost acting as a president already. However, with Disney CEO Bob Iger now opening up more about his plans to the fandom, behind the scenes, Disney executives are in the planning stages of replacing the current Lucasfilm vice president and bringing in Jon Favreau to take control over Lucasfilm in big ways, while also still holding the ability to actually create shows. Now, Disney CEO Bob Iger is now looking to replace Vice President Lin-Wen Brennan, who is the current VP of Lucasfilm, and is calling for Jon Favreau to take over by the beginning of next year. This plan is already moving forward and taking the necessary steps to make it happen, and it's moving along very well with Favreau holding great interest, since he knows he needs all the creative pull that he can get in order to bring Star Wars to a better place. On top of that, the specifics about this progress involves the fact that Iger has been very unhappy with Brennan's work as a VP, since she is very close with Kathleen Kennedy and supports all of her work for the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, and has been working hand in hand with the development of both shows with Kennedy, making decisions that have only hurt Disney in the process. Now, before I get to the next big piece about this development, guys, when we look at Jon Favreau, alright, we know that this is a man that loves working on the shows. What I find to be very impressive is that Disney is actually coming up with a plan to place him in there as a VP, while also still holding the, willpower and the time to work on some of the already established Star Wars installments, such as The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, stuff like that. And I think that at the end of the day, that's very impressive, the fact that they have a game plan to make him a VP, and to also have time to work on Star Wars shows as a writer, as a director, and whatever have you. Now, here's the thing about this. The great news about this is that this would give Favreau even all the more creative power and pull, but not just that, also on the financial end of the spectrum, giving him a lot more, control over that as well. So, one thing is for certain is that Disney is still on the hunt for replacing Kathleen Kennedy as the main president of Lucasfilm. Dana Brunetti is still the top candidate to this day. That's still remaining intact. So far, so good. They're still projecting to get Kathleen Kennedy out by this August, maybe even earlier, but who knows? I doubt it'll be earlier, to be honest with you guys, but we'll have to wait and see. But looking at everything related to Jon Favreau coming in and really getting this, to actually come together to eventually fill in that VP spot by next year, I think is a great development. This is something that Lucasfilm needs, because let's face it, guys, I don't think Brennan was doing a good job either. I don't know if you guys have been following, but Brennan is indeed extremely close to Kathleen Kennedy. She loves everything that she does, everything that she has done in the past, and supports her through and through. This is, by the way, the main reason why Bob Iger wants her out, because it's only causing issues behind closed doors. Now, we already know that everything related to the whole Karen McCarthy situation and, suing Lucasfilm for not getting paid for the acolyte also caused a lot of trouble. Of course, Brennan had a hand in that as well, so there was a lot of problems happening with Lucasfilm, and there still remains, a lot of issues going on to this day. However, moving to the next thing here, of course, the current VP is fighting to keep her position and to prevent Favreau from taking her over. Once Favreau obtains his VP position, he will be able to make more financial goals and decisions on the current projects. And Jon already has premature plans already once he becomes the VP, in that he wants to focus on raising budgets for shows and focusing on more quality-driven projects on the big screen again, along with TV shows, picking up on Iger's motive in a stronger and better way. Dave Filoni was offered this position first, but he declined and wanted no part of becoming VP, as he wants to mainly and only focus on his writing and working on, of course, the existing Star Wars shows, such as the second season of Ahsoka, which Lucasfilm aims to release in 2025 on Disney+. Now, Kennedy also had a meeting asking Disney to call off their way of pursuing to replace Brennan as the vice president in desperate attempts to keep her intact over at Lucasfilm. So, again, we know that everything related to Kathleen Kennedy right now has not been good news. She's been falling into a lot of creative struggles with the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. It's not been looking good for her, and especially it's not been looking good for Disney's image. That's why they also want to rid of Kathleen Kennedy, because of how much damage that she has caused to not just Lucasfilm's image, but also to how Disney was allowing that to happen for so very long. And they just want to put a stop to it. So I would really like to hear what everyone has to say. What do you think about Jon becoming the VP? Do you think it's a good move by the executives and Bob Iger? Or do you think that this is a very big mistake? I, however, believe that this is what we need. This is what should have been done a very long time ago. And it's the perfect balance, because not only will he have a lot of creative and financial pull, but he's also going to have a lot more time in comparison to if he were to take over as president, that he'll still have time to work on some Star Wars shows, which is great. I think that's perfect. That really does give Disney the opportunity to really expand and to really assure that Lucasfilm is in better hands, and they're already cleaning up house as we speak. They are getting rid of some employees, some creatives, some team members and stuff like that, and replacing them with new ones. This is going to take over the course of the remainder of this year into 2024, mind you. So anyways, guys, with that being all put out there and said, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.